the organisms, they can't die. They are going to die. They can't live. So that's why it is this symbiosis is necessary. It is mandatory for their survival. This type of relationships called as obligatory. It's mandatory. Obligatory means it's mandatory, necessary. And other one, the second type is facultative. It is optional. Facultative means it's optional. Then they can generally live independently also. So symbiosis is also classified by physical attachment. So symbiosis in which the organisms have bodily union is called as conjugative symbiosis. And symbiosis in which they are not in union, it is called as disjunction symbiosis. So based on their necessity and the factor of living together, how much are they are dependent. So based on that, we can already divide into two types like facultative and obligatory. Again, based on physical attachment, morphological attachment, otherwise physical attachment, these organisms we can again what is it classified into two types. The first one is conjugative symbiosis. In this conjugative symbiosis, what happened? The organisms both are united. Physically, the organisms are both are united. So whenever it's not united, their morphological structures, otherwise physical areas, it's not related or not united, it's called as disconjugate. So this is called as disconjugative. So like this, we can divide it into two types. So when one organisms lives on the surface of the another, such as, for example, head lice on humans, it is called as ectosymbiosis. Otherwise, sometimes these organisms may be live inside of the body. That is called as endo. Ecto mean they can live outer side of the body. That is of ectosymbiosis. And whenever it is living inside of the body, that is called as endosymbiosis. For example, the best example of endosymbiosis is Plasmodium vivax, whatever it is. Other organisms are there. Parasites mostly, nematodes, whatever it is, ascaris, they are living inside of the body. So thus the symbiosis we are classifying in three ways. First one is based on their dependency. We are divided into two types, obligatory and facultative. And based on physical attachment, these organisms we are divided into two types. These symbiosis we are divided into two types, that is conjugative symbiosis and disconjugative symbiosis. So another one is based on their place, living surface. For example, inner side, otherwise on outer side. So the if living organisms, they are the parasites, otherwise the symbiotes. They can live on outer surface of the body, that is called as ectosymbiosis. If it is inner side of the body, that is called as endosymbiosis. So this endosymbiosis is any symbiotic relationship in which one symbiont lives within the tissue of the other, either within the cells or extracellular, whatever it is. The examples microbes mostly, rhizobia, nitrogen fixing bacteria. Maybe in case of plants, they are living in the root nodules of legume roots, and actinomycete, nitrogen fixing bacteria, so etc. Many are there. So ectosymbiosis is any symbiote relationship in which the symbiote lives on the body surface like host. So including the uh, for example, best example is head lice. We know that. So after symbiosis, mutualism is there. We can learn about the mutualism. So the mutualism nothing but it is a reciprocal positive relationship among two species. Both the animals live together for getting benefit of growth, survival, and other life activities. Many herbivores are with mutualistic gut flora to help them digest plant matter, which is more difficult to digest than animals. So, for example, we know that the vegetative herbivores, especially it may be cow, donkey, goat, sheep, these all are they can feed the what is it plants. So we know that in plants, cellulose is there. It is somewhat difficult to digest. In case of human beings, we can't digest that cellulose. So, but in animals like herbivores, they can digest easily because some floral microorganism, not floral, I mean gut microorganisms are there, gut flora. So they can digest the cellulose. So thus, these mutualism in case of herbivores, they both are benefited. Like uh, microorganisms, they can digest the cellulose and they can use the energy to the. Thus, the animals or herbivore can get the energy. At the same time, these microorganisms are gut flora. Maybe they can live inside of the body. They can shelter. They can get the shelter. And another example of this mutualism relationship between the Ocellaris clownfish and what is it? Animals. This clownfish dwell among the tentacles of the sea animal. The terrestrial fish protect the animal from the what is that sea anemone eating fish and turn it's eating the tentacles of the anemone and protect the clownfish from the predators. A special mucus on the clownfish protect it from the sitting tentacles. A further example is the goby. It's a fish. It sometimes live together with the shrimp. The shrimp digs and clean up a burrow in the sand, which both the shrimp and goldfish live. The shrimp is almost blind and leaving it vulnerable to predators when outside its burrows. And in case of danger, the goby touches the shrimp with its tail to warn it, and then they can escape from the predators. Like that, both they can both the benefit. And again, a non-obligate symbiosis is seen in these few organisms like bryozoans and hermit crabs. In this case, also in this mutualism, also we can classify into two types like obligatory and facultative. So in obligatory, they are what is that? These two organisms, these two species mandatory they have to live together. In case of in um, facultative, it is optional. They can live together. Otherwise, they can live independently also. So these are the mutualism. And one more best example of this mutualism, you have to write in more examples in your examinations. That's why I'm trying to explain more. So both animals are benefited in this relationship. However, the relationship is not essential to both of the them. In case of facultative, okay. So both animals behave opportunistically, aphids and ants. Okay. So both these can live independently whenever they are need. So otherwise they can living together also, these aphids and ants. However, when these two insects live in the same areas, the ants protect the aphids from the predations and the aphids provide a sugary fluid on for ants. So they can feed on that sugary fluids. So thus, this both aphids and ants they can living together whenever need. Otherwise, they can live also independently. So this is the facultative relationship. So another example: small cleaner fish and large fish where either of these species needs to live together. But the smaller fish can feed parasites on the larger fish. Here, smaller fish gets food while the larger fish gets protection from the parasites. So this is the mutualism. Here are two mutualistic relationship from the Costa Rican forest. The tree sloth has a algae and they can growing in this its fur, and these algae help to camouflage the sloth against the lichen covered tree. And there is even a moth that lives only in the sloth's fur and consume the algae. This is a commensal relationship between the both moth and sloth. Okay. Next, commensalism. We can first symbiosis and mutualism is over. Then commensalism. In commensalism, it is nothing but eating together, where no physiological dependence between the two organisms, and the activities of both are what is that concentrated on the food. Here, one partner is benefited, while the other one is it may be neither benefited, it not harmed. Maybe it's a neutral. These commensalism relationships may be involve one organisms using another for transportation, otherwise for shelter or for housing, or it may be also involve one organisms using something another created after its death. Example is metabiosis of what is that hermit crab using gastropod shells to protect their bodies, and spiders building their webs on plants, etc. So the cattle, what is that? Egret is often seen in the company of the grazing animals. The grazers stir up insects, which the egret then eats. So this is the probably a loss sort of commercialism. There is no operant benefit to the cattle. So the commercialism is loose because the egrets will follow any cattle in Florida. In fact, I have seen them following some other organisms also. For examples, we can see that whenever in fields, one organisms like it may be cow or otherwise donkey, whenever we observe few birds like what is that crane, whatever it is, few birds can they can sit on the animals and they can feed on them. What are the small food particles are there, whatever it is. So there is no use of that. It may be cow, otherwise host organism. But they can get the birds. They can get the benefit. Next, antagonism. So in this relationship between the members of different species, one or both are armed. It includes various relationships like amensalism, antibiosis, and parasitism, predation, competition. In this case, one is benefited and the other one is it may be harm. So the first we can understand the parasitism. In this, an animal depends on the other animal for food, for shelter, and production. It's conferring any benefit to the other host is called as parasite. So the depending organism it is called as parasite, and which organisms giving shelter that is called as host. The animal which fulfills all the needs of the parasite, it is called as host. We know that it can fulfill that. They can produce that. They can give. The organisms which favorably transfer parasites to reach the host, it is called as a vector. For example, you can see that mosquitoes. The plasmodium, it is a protozoan, it is a parasite. The host is human beings. These parasites, they can live in host body, in humans. But whenever it is How they can reach that? Through the mosquitoes. These mosquitoes are these transporters. These are called as vectors. So which organisms they can transfer the parasite, it is called as vector. So an association of these two organisms is called as parasitism, the parasite and host. So based on this phenomenon, they are again different types. They are temporary parasites, otherwise permanent parasites. These temporary parasites, parasitism or parasite, it is called as sometimes practical parasitism, practical parasites. So the square root may look like a fungus, but it is actually flowering plant. These parasitic countries, actually, it is a what is it? It is a parasitic on trees, usually oaks and gets its energy by tapping its old roots. Betrays its true nature when it comes time to reproduce. So thus, uh, this type of parasitism is there. One is dependent, another one is the another example is the worm and wasp, tiny wasp larva. The adult wasp sitting, the adult wasp sting the caterpillar, injecting their eggs into this caterpillar. The eggs hatch and devour the caterpillar from the inside. So being careful not to disturb any vital functions. The caterpillar is due to this injection, the caterpillar is it's look like normal and the physiological functions are not changed. Any biological metabolism also not changed. The all vital functions are going normally in caterpillar, but the eggs are hatched inside the caterpillar. Eventually, they emerge and spin the cocoons of silk in which they are transitioned from larvae to adult. So technically, these insects are parasitoids. Since, unlike true parasites, they kill their host. This is fairly tight relationship. The wasp could not survive without the caterpillars in the same family. So much looser parasitism is shown by ectoparasites which feed from the outside. For example, headlice. They can live on the head of the human beings, whatever the other organisms also we can see that they can feed from them. And mosquitoes, of course, suck the blood, especially female mosquitoes, okay, female anopheles. So they can also act as the parasites. And another example is the brown-headed cowbirds are nest parasites. For example, they originally followed the bison on the Great Plains. They feeding on insects and kicked up by the large herds. Since the bison themselves migrated, following the melting snows and eating the fresh spring grass, the cowbirds had to move as well. So they can get the benefit from them. And leech also. Leeches, they can feed from the human beings and otherwise other animals. They can feed on sanguivorous. So the leeches are usually out of the ectoparasites. It is act as ectoparasites. They attach it to the vertebrate host and take a blood meal before the dropping out. So most are not adapted to a single vertebrate host. They can live whatever it is. The different hosts are there. It may be humans, maybe animals, cow, sheep, whatever it is. So, but they are highly adapted to sucking blood. They saliva, including anesthetic, to help keep the host from what is that? Noticing the bite. So that's why whenever they are bite and they are feeding on blood, they are sucking the blood. The animals, otherwise the hosts, are not feel like pain. Uh, they are normal. So the pain is not there. It's because of this anesthetic nature of this saliva. Next, competition. It is an interaction between the two organisms or species in which both the organisms and species are harmed. So limited supply of at least one resource, such it may be food, water, or territory, used by both can be factor. Competition both within a otherwise between the species is an important topic in ecology, especially community ecology, because uh, nowadays we can observe that it may be competition occur among the same species. It may be for food or shelter, otherwise other factors. Otherwise, it may be competition occur between two different species also. Same, this competition always is for food or shelter, otherwise best survival. The competition is one of many interacting biotic and abiotic factors that affect the community structures. Competition among members of the same species is known as intraspecific competition. Already we discussed that intra mean within the same species, within a same group. So whenever competition occur within the same species, so it is called as intraspecific competition. While competition between the individuals of different species, it is known as interspecific competition. For example, you know that different species are there, cow and sheep, or cow and goat, whatever it is. They both on feed on grass, so they can both compete. This type of conflict it is called as interspecific competition. Otherwise, if competition occur between two cows or between two sheep or between two goat, it is called as intraspecific competition. The competition is not always straightforward and can occur in both a direct and indirect fashion. So, next, predation. In this the predation, one organism it is called as predator and another organism called as prey. So, in this, the predator benefits and prey is harmed lethally, but it is a short-term interaction. Whenever two organisms are there, the stronger one, otherwise larger one, it is maybe benefited organism, it is called as predator, this predation interaction, and harmed lethally, otherwise physically, the smaller organism, it is called as prey. For example, you take deer and lion. Lion is a predator, it is benefited, and deer, they can eat on them. It is called as prey. So it is a short interaction. Predators are adapted and often highly specialized for hunting with acute vision and hearing and sense of smell. Many predatory animals, both vertebrates such as lions and sharks, and other invertebrates such as mantis, have sharp, what is it, claws, otherwise jaws, to grip and kill and cut up their prey. The predators are heterotrophic, getting all their energy from other organisms. This places them at high trophic level. This places them at a high trophic level in food webs. They are more continued to identify healthy animals also. Yeah, okay, students. Sorry for the inconvenience. So now we are discussing and predation. We know that these predators continues feeding on the same species. Their place are higher trophic level in food webs. The predators mostly carnivores, maybe tiger, lion, and whatever it is. They mostly are carnivores. The predators. Naturally, these predators like to eat by chasing the organisms which are most available. They are more concerned to identify healthy animals also. If a predator continues feeding on the same species, its serious consequences may be ensured both for the predator and prey. For example, if you take lion, it continuously take on their prey like deers. They are continuously kill them and they continuously eat on them, feed on them. So after a few years, it may be deers are disappeared. It may be not available. So whenever these deers are not available, ultimately the uh, predators also like it may be lion, tiger, whatever, they are also going to die. So similarly, so this interaction is mandatory whenever it is overly continuously occur on the same species. It may be a dangerous, maybe lethal to both organisms like prey and predators. So that's why it is most important thing. That's why this interaction also, this predation, it's not occur on the same species. So it may be different. They can also feed on different organisms. So Gambusia fish, another example is Gambusia fish are stocked in reservoirs to eat mosquito larvae and control the mosquito population. But when the fish have reduced the larva to low number, they then they turn on the other food and thus allow the mosquito population to recover. So that's why we won't encourage. I mean, nature won't encourage the same thing repeatedly. If it is occur, they are going to disappear. Otherwise, they are perished on the earth. So this is the interaction. So today we are learned about animal. This is a. I hope this lesson is you are understand. Today we are learned about the animal association. I hope you are understanding of animal associations and different types of association, like what is obligatory and what is uh, facultative, and what are the types of the relations are there, like mutualism, commensalism, parasitism, competition, predation, different types are there. I hope you are understand very well. And on concluding this chapter, the summary of this chapter is uh, whenever we summarize this relationships, it may be the relationship between the same species, it is called as intraspecific. Whenever it is in different species, it is called as interspecific. These interspecific relationships are, it may be neutralism, symbiosis, or antagonism. Different types are there, already we discussed. The symbiosis is also classified based on the physical attachment. When our physical attachment is there, that is called as conjugative symbiosis. If it is not physical attachment, that is called as disjunctive. Conjugative and disjunctive. These terms are try to remember that. Conjugative nothing but their connection is there. If connection is there, that is conjunctive, not conjugative. Sometimes it is also called as conjugative. It is especially in microorganism, it is there. So this conjunctive symbiosis, nothing but connection is there. Physical connection or physical attachment is there. That is called as conjunctive symbiosis. Whenever it is not union, not physical attachment is there. So that is called as a disjunctive symbiosis. And many herbivores they are mutualistic with the gut flora to help them digested plant material, especially cellulose. Already we discussed in mutualism. So at the same time, commensalism also we discussed. The commensalism is nothing but eating together. But maybe one is get benefited, another one is not benefited. Already we discussed a few examples in commensalism. These are, for example, erget cattle already we discussed, and on these cattle, there's a few. What is that? Grazers are stir up the insects. That is one of the example. So here in this commensalism, it's involve one organisms using the another for transportation or housing, or it may be also involve one organism using something another is what is that created or after its death. For example, already we discussed about a hermit crab. These hermit crabs using gastropod shells for their protection purpose, otherwise shelter purpose. Whenever gastropods are die, these shells are available. In these shells, these hermit crabs are they are using that and they can live inside of the shells, and thus they can get protection from their predators. At the same time, we can observe that spiders they can build their webs on the what is that plants. So like this, different interactions are present in commensalism. At the same time, we also discuss about what is that some birds they can sit on the animals and they can feed on that, and that is benefited. So no harm and no what is that not benefited for the animals for that sometimes. Okay, this is also belongs to the commensalism. And antagonism also we discussed in this relationship. Both it may be harm, both may be die in this relationship. So otherwise, in few interactions or in few relationships, so one animal is benefited and one animal is harmed. These are the parasitism, predation, antibiosis, etc. In parasitism, already we discussed. Only one organisms like parasite, they can benefit it, and host is harmed. They can harm to the host. For example, you take a human being and microorganism like plasmodium. The plasmodium is a parasite. They can live in the host body like humans. They can harm the host humans. They can cause some diseases. And which are the sometimes few organisms they can transport the these parasites from one area to another area. This type of organisms called as vectors, like mosquitoes. And also we discussed about leeches. Leeches can feed on the animal body. They can suck the blood from the animals. But anyhow, the saliva of these leeches or parasites, they can, what is it? Nature, what is it? Anesthetic nature. So due to this, they can't get pain. So thus they can suck the blood from the animals. So this leech parasites, there is a leech, saliva, anesthetic in nature. They can't get the pain. That's why the animals they can live easily on that, and they can live the on the host body. They can feed and they can suck the blood. At the same time, we observe two types of parasites like ectoparasites and endoparasites. The ectoparasites nothing but they can live outer surface of the body. So like leeches or head lices, whatever it is. These are the ectoparasites. Endoparasites, nothing but inside of the body. It may be tissues, otherwise extracellular fluid, otherwise inside the cell. Okay, these all are belongs to the endoparasites. Next competition is there. In competition, one is benefited, another one is not benefited. So in this competition, maybe it is temporary is there, otherwise facultative is also is there. So this is the competition in this at the same time predation also is there. In competition, the both if it is occur in both same species or same community, it is called as intra competition. If it is occur for in different type of organisms or different type of species, that is called as interspecific competition. Yeah, always competition occur for food, otherwise for shelter, otherwise some resources for necessary for their living. And in predation, in this predation relationship, one organism it is called as prey, another one is called as predator. The predator it is somewhat is a larger one or stronger one. It is always high at food web. The place is always high at food web. They can kill and eat on them. So that's why they are called as prey. The predators can kill the prey and eat them and they can live. So in this type of association, only one organism is benefited, another one is lethal, as harm. So this is students. I hope you understand very well. And if you have any doubts, more doubts, you can also watch in the our YouTube channel. We are maintaining this Ambedkar Open University also maintaining uh, this Ambedkar Open University also maintaining a YouTube channel. More videos also available. You can browse that. You can visit the YouTube channel and see that more units, more topics are available. At the same time, also university also maintain this what is that app, mobile app. You can download that, watch the videos, and take care. Students, if you have any doubts, you can ask me regarding these animal interactions, especially mutualism, next symbiosis, predation, commensalism, whatever it is. Also, you can chart this in this chart box. I can give clarifications.